We're getting into endgame stuff here right now, folks. You'll never guess what I saw in the news today. China has started using anal swabs to test for coronavirus. So they're doing a PCR test on the material that comes on the Q-tip when I don't know, do they use a Q-tip for that? I hope not. Anyways, so they're all making up stuff to be scared about. For example, this mutant strain thing, and they decided, oh, this school there's a case here, so let's test the entire school with a saliva test and a blood test and an anal swab. So they basically took hundreds and hundreds of school children and gave all of them an anal. They basically gave them an anal probe with a swab on it, and then they tested that with the PCR test, and it's really obvious that the world is controlled by pedophiles when they start to do things like that. I don't know if it was an elementary school or a middle school or a high school, and I don't know where those kids' parents were not pulling them out of school the second they heard that was going to happen. A lot of people are just kind of going along with this, just letting doctors stick items into the anuses of hundreds and hundreds of children. It just seems wrong, and it's totally medically unnecessary, and children are at almost no risk from dying of the flu. So it's really bizarre. It's really bizarre unless you know what's going on, which is pedophiles controlling the world, and this is their end game. And now they're trying to sneak this anal swab thing into the COVID testing. And next thing you know, maybe in a year, they're not going to make the mandatory vaccines for flights just yet, but maybe you'll have to get a mandatory anal swab, because what the scientists in China are saying is that's better at detecting genetic fragments that they need to amplify 40 times in order to claim that you have coronavirus. So that's better than the saliva test or the nasal swab or whatever. So anyways, it's pretty gross, it's pretty disturbing, very inappropriate. If you have a child in public school and the school announces that they're going to anally probe every child in the school, take the child out of school immediately and probably flee the country to a more reasonable country that's not as controlled by the globalists. In case you did not grasp the severity of what I just said was they are creating a medical, scientific, legal, political case for having an unlimited power to basically decide to sodomize entire schools full of children against their will, against their parents' will. Question you should be asking yourself right now is, how much of this are you going to take, and how long are you going to take it for? When it starts happening in your country, what are you going to do? Have a great day, folks.